the United stand, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been handed a massive January transfer boost, and news that to me and hopefully to you lot is really, really good, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer may only be here for 5 months, but we can't stand still. Whether it's renewal of contracts, retaining players or buying players, that is open season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that is really, really important. We've had a super chat coming here from Red Baron saying all the rival fans are crying. We sacked Jose, laugh out loud. I think they are. And dude, I turned off the porn for this. Let's go, said Howard Walters. What a comment to get us going with. But yeah, I want to talk about this transfer stuff because there's 2 players that United are linked to in January. I was talking about this before. I think we need to start looking at this now. Look, there's a lot of things going on with the Solskjaer thing now, but I think we need to move fast in our minds as Manchester United fans. Look, some fans are saying, how are you going to get relegated? He got Cardiff relegated. Jurgen Klopp got Mainz relegated, and I know he got them promoted, but he also got them relegated. In his final season at Dortmund, they were nearly going down. It's all relative. Solskjaer is Solskjaer. We're going to back him. Let's see how he goes. If you're not happy about it, you can say I told you so at the end, couldn't you? But I'm going to put my hands up. I really am looking forward to it. So let's see what happens with him. But it's really important to me that we start looking at other things now. Let rivals hate. I'm not bothered about that. Got to start looking at other things now. Got to start looking at January. Got to start look at building. Because it's all right going, yay, Ollie's back. The king of 1999. He won, is it? Solskjaer's won it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. There's positivity around the club. There really is positivity around the club, but we've got to build on that. We are a long way behind. If we were racing camels, we would be about 100 metres behind Arsenal, and they're about 300 metres behind Liverpool and Manchester City, and no matter how hard we ride that camel, in a sense of riding the camel to race it, it's not going to be easy to catch up. So we've got to start now and not enjoy the view. Enjoy the view that Solskjaer's back. Let's crack on. So let's look at Manchester United. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody for all your kind messages. You've been saying, it's amazing the content you've been putting up the last couple of days, the graphics from Drawty, your persistence, Mark, Flex and Rant's doing stuff. You've been really, really busy. Thanks to that. We do it for you. This is what that channel's all about. So thank you to you lot for getting involved. And, I've enjoyed the last 48 hours. It's been really, really tiring, but I have enjoyed it. I think the funniest thing I would say is that somebody said to me today, because I said I think it's time that the fan base wasn't divided and everyone got together, and they came back at me with loads of retweets and likes from haters saying that you're the reason the fan base was divided. You've got a real cheek to say that, and it's fair play. A lot of people replied before I saw it saying, actually, Mark backed Mourinho a lot longer than anybody. He was saying all through the summer, let's give him a chance. I was wrong, but I did say it, so thanks everyone for defending me on that. As for dividing the fan base, piss off. Just what? Because we realised that Mourinho was finished 3 months ago, and some people are still living up Mourinho's arse now. Grow the fuck up. Manchester United were sinking, and now we've been thrown a lifeline. So I don't make any apologies. It was my opinion. You can make your own up. Red Baron says, Mark, this is the best Christmas present ever. All I want to see is our team try and play attacking football. That's all I need. Well, I want to talk about these transfers first of all. Now, it's been circulating around that Manchester United will still be going for a top-class centre-back in January, which I think for many people that's really, really important, but also a right midfielder. And apparently, to rub salt in the proverbial wound, Jose Mourinho was told this hours before he was sacked, that Manchester United were looking to make 2 signings in the summer. They didn't spend the money they needed to spend, in January. They didn't spend the money they needed to in the summer. And Manchester United are looking to spend money in January, which I think is a positive. But it's not just that as well. There's some worrying news about Andreas Pereira. And also, Solskjaer will be charged with actually getting De Gea and Martial and even Paul Pogba to sign new contracts. So this may be a 5-month holiday, but it's not a busman's holiday for Ollie. It's not come back and have a stadium tour and there's the picture of you winning it. He's got a busy 5 months. It's not a thankless task because we'll love him if he gets it right. But there are massive levels to what he's got to do. And somebody's saying, who do you think Manchester United's new captain is? Remind me about that later because we'll talk about that. But what I would say is that there is so much for Solskjaer to do on and off the pitch. On the pitch, massive job. We've spoken about that. Make sure you watch the video I did at lunchtime if you're at work, school, university or whatever like that. It's how get Mourinho out of my mind, how Solskjaer's going to line Manchester United up, and it's all about how he's played in his career, what his tactics will be, what his likely lineup will be. Watch it. It's only about 15 minutes long. You'll really enjoy it. So he's got to do all of that. Then he's got to sort out stuff off the pitch. There's people perilously close to the end of their contracts. And Andreas Pereira's one, Martial, De Gea, ridiculous amount of work for Solskjaer to do, and Edward will be as busy as well. But Solskjaer's got to get the feel-good factor within that squad. The feel-good factor was gone, and people were looking out the window at other clubs. If he can get that feel-good factor going at Manchester United, it could be massively, massively important for Manchester United. So big job for Solskjaer. Let's talk about some of the players. I just want to say as well, links in the video description for Football Index. I normally do this on the transfer show. I don't normally do a transfer show at 8 o'clock, so I'm just shouting it out now. If you've not played Football Index, I'll just quickly run through it with you now, and then we'll do it properly at the end of the show. But Football Index, it is the football game where you can buy shares in players and make yourself some money doing that. Remember, you've got to be over 18 and do gamble responsibly, but unlike your traditional £10 bet on United winning and you lose your tenner if we don't, this is buying shares in players. So if you look at my portfolio at the moment, I'm doing bloody well. I'm doing really well. I've kept De Bruyne until his injuries got better and he's going up in price. Ronaldo's a bit low and Gareth Bale is a bit low, but I think they'll come back. But look at that. Aubameyang I've made 420. Martial I've made 660. Marcus Rashford I've made £14.80. Mason Greenwood have made £11.70. So, and Greenwood's the player I would get on. You can get Mason Greenwood for $3.93 a share. I would say buy 5-10 shares in him and watch. I mean, basically, how Football Index works is it's a long-term investment. You can sell and buy quick, or you can do what I do. I buy players and I look at a long-term investment because their prices are going to go up. And when you look at the price of Ronaldo being 11 quid, Greenwood's got a lot of expansion in him. Same with Marcus Rashford. Same with Anthony Martial. And when you look at the top 200 players at the moment, most Manchester United players are increasing in price. I mean, if you look at Paul Pogba, he's £12.14 a share, but he has actually dropped from a peak of $12.60 a few days ago. So I'm actually just going to very, very quickly use some of my profit to buy 5 shares in him. Okay, all right. So anyway, we can talk about that later, but link is in the video description for that. And give it a go. It's good. I enjoy it. And a lot of people get involved in the forums with that. You can buy and sell your shares in players. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So link in the video description to have a go at that. United since '89. Who do you think will be the next player to join the new system to bring back the good old days? And the players are going to be found out now. Nowhere to hide, says DZ Guy. Yeah, look, I want to talk about that. I do want to talk about that. But I think that we need to talk about the transfers first. Now, Andres Pereira, his family are Brazilian. He was brought up in Belgium, I believe. Obviously, he's played for Brazil. He's a massive fan of Santos. Now, Santos' president has said that he's spoken to Andres Pereira's father. They're aware that he's out of contract in the summer. They want him at Santos. He wants to go to Santos, and they want to do a deal with United in January, 6 months before the end of his contract. Now, I'm not too sure what the situation with Andres Pereira is, because I thought his contract expired in the summer, but then somebody said that we have got an option of a further year if the player agrees. So I suppose that could be the stumbling block. Now, Andres Pereira's got every right to want to leave Manchester United. He went to Granada, he went to Valencia for a season, he did his groundwork, he came back to United, Mourinho got him to stay, and he's had less game time than Fred the Red. And I'm not talking about Fred the Brazilian, I'm talking about the bloody mascot. He's been on the pitch more than Pereira this season. So I can understand why Pereira wants to go. However, if Pereira is used by Solskjaer, then maybe that situation can change. And I really do hope that happens, because I think Andres Pereira is a really, really important player. But it is concerning that it is coming from the Santos president that Pereira wants to go back there. So this is what I mean about Solskjaer's job. Solskjaer's job is not just getting us sorted on the pitch. He's got massive responsibilities, almost unfair responsibilities for a manager that's only going to be here 5 months. Now, some people don't want him here at all. Some people are happy that he's here for 5 months and they don't want him long term. For me, I'm just sort of relaxed. I'm like, let's see what Solskjaer can do, because if he rips up trees and does fantastically well, let's keep him. But it's not just going to be about what he achieves on the pitch. If he can get Pereira to sign a new contract, Martial, De Gea, Pogba, that's 4 big deals that Mourinho just couldn't do. So, it's not just all about what's going on the pitch. So watch this space with Andres Pereira. We also know there's people like Phil Jones, Ashley Young, I would hope we're not going to give them a contract. I'll be really unhappy if we do give them a contract. I mean, we're all positivity, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be real. And I know you lot won't be as well. Phil Jones, I was asked about this on this. I went on Off the Ball, this Irish YouTube channel this morning, and they asked me about Phil Jones, and they said you've been quite nasty about Phil Jones, and I said no, I've been realistic about a player like I was about Mourinho, my club comes first. I'm not here to pander to reputations or people. My best mate could play for United, but if he played crap, I'd tell him, and I'd tell all you lot as well. Phil Jones could be the best centre-back in the world. I'd still sell him because for the last 4 years, he's not played half of our games. So Phil Jones should not be given a new contract. Ashley Young is nearly 55. So again, what does he offer us? I wouldn't give them new contracts. Move them on. They have no resale value. No one's going to give us anything. What, a packet of quavers? Move them on. Mata's interesting. He is nearly 30. I think he might be 30 now. He may even be 31. But he doesn't invite me to his birthday party, so I don't know how old he is. But, would you be giving him a new contract? He's free to speak to anybody he likes in January. Same with Ander Herrera. I think you would want to get him on a contract. But some players might say, it's time for me to move on. And if that's the case, again, it's hard for Solskjaer. But Martial and De Gea, we've got to get them on a contract, and that's got to be job one for Solskjaer. And the positive about that is that hopefully we will see Martial playing week in, week out. Don't let Mike Phelan pop another balloon, says Moe Strummer. Well, you know what? What I would say about Mike Phelan is when we're talking about what the starting lineup would be, I know time has passed, but he did like Young, Valencia, Smalling and Jones, so we might start seeing them again. Talking about acquisitions, because I'm sure that's what a lot of you want to speak about. Now, this rumour, I think it was, I've read it in a few outlets today, that Manchester United are looking to sign 2 players in January. One is Douglas Costa from Juventus, because he's not getting as much game time. Mark, are you not doing the watch-along for Spurs, says George Ramos? No, I think I was going to do a watch-along on That's Football tonight for Arsenal versus Spurs, but the news that's been going on around United's always my priority, and you and the United stand are always my priority. If I've got time to sit back and watch a game that's got nothing to do with me and do it on That's Football, I'll do it. But we've got so much to discuss about United at the moment. There's just so many things going on. I just think it's more important to be doing stuff about United, and I hope you agree. So make sure you smash a like on the video. Let's see if we can get 1,000 likes while we're live. So Douglas Costa from Juventus, he's only just gone there, even though he's been on loan from Bayern Munich. He has signed for them officially last summer. He's an interesting one, that why United are being linked to him, and I'd certainly welcome him at United because he's an out-and-out winger. Martial, I think his best position at the moment is left wing. Rashford is a centre-forward. Lukaku's a centre-forward. Mata's more an inverted right midfielder. Lingard, I think, works better centrally. Sanchez, God knows what's going to happen with him. So to get a natural winger, I mean, we've got to Heath Chong. Hopefully we're going to see a bit of him. But to get an experienced natural winger, I think it's something United really do miss. So I was quite encouraged when I saw that we were linked to Douglas Costa. Only just turned 28. I think we need to wipe our brains about 28-year-olds now, though, because Mourinho had this obsession with 28-year-olds, 29-year-olds, but Mourinho's gone. And actually, a really experienced winger like Douglas Costa could be just an out-and-out winger. This is why I wanted Perisic a couple of years ago. A specialist out-and-out winger who wants to play on the wing, who's not there just because he wants to get game time so he can go up front. I think he'd be really good. Whether there's any truth in it, I don't know. Whether you can buy a player that's only officially signed for Juventus in the summer, I don't even know if we can do that. But he is a name that's being touted around, and he's good. He's a good player, and I think for Manchester United, as a wide player who can play both sides, I'd like him. Solskjaer, his name is Solskjaer, says Dan O'Keefe. Mate, I'll say what I like. I always say what I like about names. Don't correct me about names, because I'll say what I like. Costa has pace, says Pankaj. And Bailey could be great, says AS Alexi. Yeah, I really do like Leon Bailey. Jamaican. I think he started playing for Jamaica. I think he's playing in the German league at the moment. He's potentially very, very good. It just excites me that United are being linked to wingers, because I don't know whether we'll get Douglas Costa. I'm throwing it out there because it's a name that's been mentioned today, but I really wanted to bring it out there because I think an out-and-out winger is what we need. People talking about Isco, again, he's just another sort of matter, really. An out-and-out winger is certainly what Manchester United need, and I think it would be good. I do want to see Heath Chong getting some game time, so that's important. Centre-back, Pulisic is an interesting one. Dito, yeah, really would be very, very happy to get him. And I think that's important that United are looking at players like that, because Chelsea and Liverpool certainly are, and he's a Manchester United fan. But Andres Pereira, we spoke about him a few minutes ago. What's his future at Manchester United? Is he a centre defensive midfielder? He can certainly play there, but Mourinho obviously is a more defensive-minded person. Or is Andres Pereira more of a, maybe can play off the left, play off the right, number 10 position as well? So maybe if we're going to try and make him stay, he could be an interesting option. Red Baron says, past couple of days, people been so happy in the comments. We want to keep that going. We want to keep that momentum and positivity going. What we don't want to do is stop people having an opinion. And if you've got your concerns about Solskjaer, or, you know, if Matic plays on Saturday and you're not happy about it, look, the appointment of Solskjaer doesn't, you know, it can't be allowed to paper the cracks. He's got to get the old polyfiller out and start filling those cracks. And they can't all be filled in with one appointment. So if you've still got reservations and you've still got concerns, don't feel guilty to air them. You know, that's what the United stand's always been about. And somebody said to me today, you know, all the rants and the frustration you've been showing on the watch-alongs, you can't really do that anymore. And I said, no, I don't really think I will do. I can't imagine if we lost to Cardiff on Saturday that I would be anywhere near as angry as I have been with Mourinho. But what I would say is if Phil Jones scores an own goal in his pink boots, I ain't going to sit there and go, oh, well, it's a new, fresh page. I'm going to go mad and say he's crap, he shouldn't be at the club. So, you know, we're still going to have things that irritate us. That's what supporting your club's all about. But definitely, I think the positivity is fantastic. And I'm hoping that this is the step in the right direction. And I think whatever happens, the fact that we've removed Mourinho is absolutely spot on. Mourinho spoke to the press today, not in an official capacity. I think he was going out to buy some Johnnies or milk. I don't know what he was going out to buy, but he got collared and he said, you know, I'm not the sort of manager that speaks about my previous club. I had a good time. I thought a lot about Manchester United. We move on, they move on, game over. The bottom line is he can't say anything. If he's been given 20 million, 15 million, whatever he's been given, that will have clauses in it that you can't talk about United for at least 18 months, 2 years. So I'm sure Mourinho would love to say what he wants to say, but he won't be able to. Van Gaal couldn't say anything either. So he's not in a position to say anything anyway, because he'd probably have legal ramifications. So, but I'm glad he isn't. I mean, you know, Mourinho, all the best. All the best. You were a failure at United. You were meant to deliver a title. You never got close to delivering a title, and you left us further away from a title than anybody else has done since Sir Alex Ferguson. So, you know, you move on. It's a shame. It's sad that it didn't turn out to be what I thought it was going to be. And I'll, you know, go back to the videos when Mourinho was appointed. You can see how happy I was. I make no qualms about that. You know, nobody's perfect. I thought he would get it right. I thought he was perfect. You know, coming off the back of the sack of Chelsea, Manchester United, a few years in the wilderness. I thought this is it. This is the dream marriage. You can rejuvenate both the club and your career. It just didn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't work out. I'm not ashamed of backing our manager for 2 years. I gave Mourinho 2 years, and it just didn't work out. Centre-backs wise, I think when you're looking at centre-backs, you've got to be saying Alderweireld, you've got to be saying Koulibaly. Now, Koulibaly, the Napoli manager, I believe it was, said that United offered 90 million and they said no, and it's impossible to do a deal with us now. I don't know whether that's because it's halfway through the season. I personally don't think Napoli have turned down a bid of £90 million for Koulibaly. I don't think they would turn a bid of £90 million for Koulibaly. But what I would say is that Manchester United may need to spend that money. As long as Solskjaer does fair or great, it's good for both sides. He'd be able to get a good job somewhere, and United may attract talent next year, says Howard Walters. Look, if we live the dream with Solskjaer and he does really, really well, then I would give him the job. That's my personal opinion, and I can see people in the live comments going absolutely mad. But I would. Going back to the centre-back situation, I sort of touched on this a little bit on previous videos. That it's not Ollie's role to come in and sort us out defensively, because that can't happen overnight. You know, building a defence that's solid is very difficult to do at the best of times. It's almost impossible to do in the middle of a season. I think the exciting thing is that the only approach that United really can take is to let the handbrake off, let the horses run freely, and go out and try and score goals. And that's what I would be saying if I was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going into training tomorrow. I'd be like, right, forget what's gone on before. I need to get your fitness levels up, because you've been bloody lazy under Mourinho, not pressing, obviously because he told you to. That's going to stop. Get out and do 10 press-ups. Get out around that pitch and start running around it, because your fitness levels have got to improve. And also, when we start playing around with the ball, start passing it forward quickly, and start shooting, because that's what we're going to do. We've got a duty to get those fans who are loyal to you, who pay your wages. We've got a duty to them to entertain them, and we're going to bloody do it. And if they score 3, we're going to score 4. And that is if anybody's ever played football, managed football, coached football, that's far easier to do. Although it sounds ironic, it's far easier to just say to your players, don't worry about your defence, just go out and score goals because you've got the talent. Because organising a defence, I will say this in fairness to Mourinho, what Mourinho did with Inter against Barcelona and other teams, parking the bus at Anfield and stopping them winning the league effectively when Gerrard slipped, it's very, 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 that's a lot of training, that is, because you're talking about spaces, you're talking about organisation. I don't think United have got time to do that, and I think we'll benefit from that. But in the long term, you look at the contrast between Man City and Liverpool. Pep spent a lot of money on his back four. He's bought 2 or 3 right backs, hasn't he? A couple of goalkeepers, a few centre backs. Didn't he sign Mangala? Where's he now? He spent a lot of money on his defence to get it right. But before he could get it right, he just went and attacked. And it was, we'll score 4, you can score 2. And they were still winning games. Look at Liverpool. Until Van Dijk came in, he's revolutionised that back four. Now, obviously, I don't want to do a disservice to people like Robertson and Gomez and their keeper because they've all contributed. But the reality is Van Dijk is the kingpin of that defence and he's sorted Liverpool's defence out. And Liverpool can now, as they've done this season, keep a clean sheet, nick a goal at the other end and win 1-0 when they're playing badly. Defence is important, but if you want a good defence, you've got to spend the money. And I would be looking at it if I was Manchester United, and I would be saying Koulibaly all the way. Alligator says, really looking forward to the future. This is a long-term project now. It may take 2 to 3 seasons, but I just want to see the attacking football from the team I love again. Happy days. Nail on the head there. And Paul McEwen says, what do you think about the rumours Woodward met with Paul Mitchell for the director of football role? I'll come back to that. And McGlenn Johnson says, if United doesn't go for Delat or Koulibaly in January, the price for them will increase by 10-20 million in the summer. The time to get them is sooner rather than later. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I think we've got to go and do it now. And I think you've got to spend the money. Van Dijk cost 75 million a year ago. Van Dijk now would probably cost 85 million because of inflation. So if we pay 90 million for Koulibaly because it's January, for me, that's good business. And also, apparently, United's value has gone up by 150 million since they sold Mourinho. So all this moaning about, should we pay him 20 million to go? We've just made 130 million by doing it. So go and spend the money. I just really hope, I said this before, I really hope the club understand what I've been saying for a long time. Because I used to work in business, I still do a little bit. Obviously, I follow football avidly. But business and football go together, but don't run a football club like a bank account. Run it like a football club, because you will make money by being successful and being positive and being, and engaging with your fans. The fans will be flocking out now. They'll be buying tops like this. They'll be buying United tops. They'll be, people will be buying shares in the club. This is what will happen because positivity reigns. So it's really important. Paul McEwen says, what do you think about the rumours with Paul Mitchell? If Paul Mitchell, I always get him mixed up with the other one. Isn't the one called Langley or something like that? Is Paul Mitchell the one who was at Southampton and he's now at RP Leipzig? I think it is, because there's 2 people I really liked for director of football. Paul Mitchell's one, and then there's the other one who I think is England director of football at the moment, and I can't remember the name of the other one. But yeah, I really do like the guy who is currently at RP Leipzig and was previously at Spurs and Southampton. He's got a good record of development, and I think he'd be really good for United. So yeah, director of football is definitely incoming for Manchester United. Back to the centre-backs then. Yeah, as I said, we've got to spend big money. Spend big money, because that defence centre-back position needs a lot of work. I'm going to stick to what I said though. I'm not convinced we need to sign a centre-back. I'm not totally convinced, because I still think Eric Bailly will now hopefully get a lot of games. I think Lindelof has and deserves a good run in the team. I think Axel Tuanzebe looks brilliant, and he can come back. So yeah, I think that we don't necessarily need to do it, but I wouldn't say no to Koulibaly. I would say no to Alderweireld for the reasons I've said before, but I wouldn't be surprised if we went for him, because I think you could probably get Alderweireld for about 40 million because of his contract situation. But if we want Pochettino, I'd avoid Alderweireld anyway. We don't want to be doing any negotiations with Spurs before Pochettino. Suspect says, what about Hirving Lozano? Thanks for the contribution. Hirving Lozano would be a fantastic signing for Manchester United. I've been talking about Hirving Lozano on this channel for maybe 3 years. I remember talking about him when he was actually playing in Mexico. Obviously, he's gone to PSV. He's done very, very well there. I would go for Lozano. I think he may well end up at Barcelona soon. Dan O'Keefe says Julian Nagelsmann as a possible manager. Thoughts? Look, there's a lot of good managers out there and they don't need to have a big name. But for me, it's got to be Pochettino or Zidane. I've heard Conte is interested in the job. I'll tell you what, if we sign Antonio Conte, I can feel my Mourinho frustration. I thought I'd got rid of it. It's bubbling back. If we get Antonio Conte as manager, I'll lose it. I really, really will lose it. I do not want him anywhere near this club. I think the Solskjaer thing is a positive and it's exciting. It might work, it might not, but it's a short-term thing anyway. But if we then brought Antonio Conte in, no, that is just no. For so many reasons, it's a big fat no from me personally. Amar Hussain says Solskjaer's remit is to unite the club, bring back some positivity and football on the front foot as per the statement. Then we'll be in a better position to renew contracts and attract new players. Exactly. Which is why I think we're going to get good results. It's why I think we're going to get good results, because I think there's going to be a feel-good factor. I can't wait for Solskjaer's press conference on Friday. I can't wait to do the Cardiff preview tomorrow. We've got Flax and Rants are going to do a bonus show because the poor lads, they filmed it on Monday night and then obviously Mourinho was sacked on Tuesday morning. So everything they'd said was basically irrelevant, although quite funny. So they're doing a bonus one for you tomorrow. And the game on Saturday, the watch along, I just can't wait. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And this is what it's all about. Rivals are rivals, and Liverpool fans and City fans, they look forward to their team playing, and Spurs, we've not looked forward to our team playing for a long time. I mean, who would have said in August that Cardiff away was going to be our most exciting fixture of the season? And it's nothing to do with sheep. It's actually a really exciting fixture, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I mean, rival fans are ribbing us. They're going, Solskjaer's going to get you relegated. You're desperate. You're going from one to another. You're excited about games against Cardiff. But when you've been in the sewer, that first breath of fresh air is heaven. And that's how I feel. I'm not ashamed to say I'm looking forward to it. Sebastian United says, I'd rather have Mourinho back than Conte. I wouldn't. I'm not far off, mate. I'm not far off with you on that one. Please do drop a like on the video, everybody. The other defensive options are maybe Skriniar from Inter Milan. But for how much he would cost, and I'm a massive fan of Skriniar, he would be Skriniar, if you got him, would be dominance from corners, both defensively and offensively. He's not bad at bringing the ball out. But I think, look, I would hope they've looked at Solskjaer and the way he plays football and thought that's how we want to play football from now on. So whoever's coming in the summer, they're going to sort of take over the reins and continue that. When you look at Koulibaly, and even if you only watched him in the game against Liverpool the other week, I watch a lot of Italian football and I always have done. And the thing about Koulibaly is that he's very quick, he's very powerful, he reads the game very well, and for a centre-back, he's actually quite good on the ball. Now, people think about centre-backs, Bobby Moore, Franz Beckenbauer, Rio Ferdinand, these one-off centre-backs who are actually, they could probably play up front, they're so good on the ball. Basically, a centre-back is not there to play 40, 50-yard Carrick-esque passes. What he's there to do is win the ball and find a player. And not always a sideways pass to your fullback. Sometimes it's got to be a 15-yard pass forward to your midfielder. And, Koulibaly's fine at that. Chris Smalling can't do that. Chris Smalling over-exaggerates every pass. He'll run round the ball so that he can pass it with his right foot instep and pass it 5 yards. Chris Smalling didn't go to the World Cup, and Gareth Southgate was actually right because he can't pass out from the back. So if Gareth Southgate doesn't want you because you can't pass out from the back, then why are United playing him as a first choice centre-back in a team that they want to play good football? Smalling needs to be a backup for when people are injured. Shiraz Kamath Fitness says, I've watched a couple of Ole's interviews. He looks like someone who doesn't hold back and speaks to the point. Excited for Friday. The thing is, he comes in, he's a United great. I wouldn't say Solskjaer is a United legend, by the way. I think what he did was legendary, but he spent most of his career on the bench. He was lethal, a lethal finisher. And as I said before, we need a hat-trick from Solskjaer. His first thing to come into the door is finish off 3 things and get a hat-trick. Finish Matic, finish Jones, and finish Fellaini. Hat-trick, finish them. I'm not Lukaku. I'm not jumping on that bandwagon at the moment. I still think we've got to put some work in with Lukaku, if only to get his value up, because he's worthless at the moment. So we're going to have to put some work in with Lukaku, and hopefully he can turn it around. But Lukaku, I don't know the guy, but I do know how he's come across in the media over the last 3 months. And Lukaku has come across as very self-indulgent, very arrogant, and very I'm Jose's boy. And that is always a mistake, because he almost was like, well, I've got Mourinho's backing. Everyone else who's moaning needs to calm their ass down, and, you know, just very up his own arse, when actually his performances on the pitch have been unacceptable. His size is unacceptable because he's been down the gym and he's lost a load of speed. Lukaku needs to swallow some humble pie, work really hard, and get the fans back on side, because the fans are behind this team now. The fans are behind this manager now. You know, the days of Mourinho are gone, and Mourinho's fun boys can, you know, get in line and wait and work hard, because realistically, I would kick the fun boys out with Mourinho. I'd love to do that. I'd love Fellaini and Matic and, you know, all those lot to go, and let's totally write a new page. But I'm willing to give them another chance, but they've got to fall into line, and they've got to fall into line with what this club's going to be all about. So yeah, but Solskjaer, let's see what happens. But he is a legend to many, and or a great, and he's a likable guy, and the media will go for him. The media went for Mourinho very early, and it was very unfair. The media will go for him because that's what the media do with United. And not since Sir Alex Ferguson have we had anybody in place who can deal with the media. And I don't even know if it's possible to deal with the media now, because you used to be able to just ban them and stuff. But yeah, we just got to stick behind this manager and give him a chance. And for those who have their reservations, that's fine. But I had my reservations about Moyes. I never wanted him, but I still sort of gave him a chance. Van Gaal, I had reservations. Some of our signings, I had reservations. So, yeah, good times ahead, hopefully. Make sure you smash that like button, everybody. I'm going to just run through some of your comments now. But the positive thing for me is, for those who've joined a little bit late, is that I keep saying Mourinho, it's stuck in my head. Solskjaer has got the responsibility and power to make signings in January. He has got the responsibility and power to make people stay at the club, and it's a massive job for him. And people should respect that, because he's coming in to something very, very difficult. And I think this is maybe why Michael Carrick hasn't put himself forward. I don't think Carrick put himself forward because, Carrick's only been actually coaching for 5 months. So Solskjaer deserves a lot of credit for coming and helping us out, as does Mike Phelan, because it's not just about results on the pitch. It's about what we do off the pitch. It's about getting Martial to sign, De Gea to sign, Pereira to stay, Pogba to sign a new contract maybe. It's about maybe not giving a contract to Jones and Young. It's about making good decisions, but also making hard decisions as well. And on top of that, it's about advising about signings in January, because I think United will make signings in January. I'm one of those people now who think that they will, because I don't think we can waste a transfer window, because we can't ship out 6 players in the summer and sign 6 players. We've been on about this for the last 3 summers, and it never happens. It can't happen. One of Woodward's weaknesses is that he does take a long time to do deals. So we know we need to ship out players, and we know we need to buy players, and we can't just do it all in one summer. So they've got to use this summer. Even if they just get a centre-back this summer, or a right winger this January, it's momentum, and it's ticking off things. So Solskjaer is going to be in place for all of that, and that is something to open your eyes up about. And it's a positive. He's not just there to train and see what happens. Youth development's key as well. Dan O'Keefe said, "Would you buy Memphis back?" I think that comment's absolutely fantastic. And Zaha, he says, I don't think Zaha would come back to Manchester United because of the comments he's made. Memphis was obviously got a buyback clause. Memphis is interesting because he has been playing out wide and he has been playing up front. If Memphis was coming back as a wide player, I think it'd be quite interesting. I never really wanted Memphis back because I think the pressure would be too much. Once a failure, the press would be all over him the second time round. Has he got the head on his shoulders to do that? And also, my concern with Memphis coming back, we were talking about this with Mourinho as manager, and it's like a flair player under Mourinho, they don't work. Obviously, we've got a new setup now. We've got to see how it goes. But if we suddenly become an attacking team, I'd probably be more tempted to bring Memphis back, yeah, because he's an attacking flair player. And he never really got to play in an attacking flair team. Van Gaal didn't play attacking football. Mourinho didn't. So, and if he's matured and he's taken it on board, I look at some of his posts and I think maybe he hasn't, but I wouldn't cry if he came back, to be honest. Chong on the right wing, says Michael Jones. I'd like to Heath Chong back. Nani's too old, crusty. The captain, says Kai. Thanks for reminding me of that. So who do you think should be Manchester United captain? I'm going to throw it out to you lot. Who do you think is going to be the captain? Do you like the new window behind me that Drorty's put in for me as well? I said I needed a bit of natural light. He's been building today and he's put me a window in the set. It's a fantastic set, isn't it? I love it. I thought last night with the little picture for the guests was great as well. So yeah, loving the new setup. Please do drop a like on video and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. Everybody's welcome. All opinions are obviously welcome as well. And yeah, it's really, really, really good to be. Oh, I know what's happened here. Drorty's going to kill me. So let's talk about the captain, people. Please get in the comments and tell me what you're thinking. Rapsinger, Chamberlain, let me know what you're thinking. I just want to give you a little bit of a spoiler as well. This is coming on Saturday, obviously. The Watch Along Studio. It's all bare at the moment, but there we will be on Saturday. Hopefully it won't be 3-1 to Cardiff. We'll be in there on Saturday for the first manager's game for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Can't wait for that. Anyway, a lot of people are saying Pogba, De Gea, Pereira has been mentioned. Yeah, you know. Lindelof, Bailly, Pereira or Mata, Fellaini, De Gea. You know what? I personally think it should be Paul Pogba because I think I've said this before. It's all or nothing with Pogba now. I'm very even-handed with Pogba. I'm a big fan of Pogba. I'm really excited to see what he can do now Mourinho's gone. But a part of me does think, and maybe like some of you think, that Solskjaer won't do that well. I think that Pogba might be inconsistent even under a new manager, and if he is, then he's a problem, isn't he? That maybe we move on. So I just think with Pogba, we've got to go all in. We've got to go all in. You're our star player. Now you're our captain. Go out there and do the job. And if he doesn't do it, then we've tried. We've done everything we can. We've removed Mourinho, the defensive, pragmatic manager. We brought in somebody who's going to let the horses run free, and he's still pragmatic. So, and he's still inconsistent. Sorry. So I would give it to Paul Pogba. You know, let's go all in on Pogba. Let's give him the captaincy. Let's see if we can get the best out of him. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But like Shareth Kamath Fitness says, make the goalie the captain. Everyone stays happy. If De Gea got it, I'd be over the moon as well. But I think give it to Pogba. I don't want to see it going to Ashley Young, Antonio Valencia, Chris Smalling, because they've been here a long time, or Fellaini. No, none of that crap anymore. Give it to somebody, a fresh new start. You know, Solskjaer, nobody thought he would be Manchester United manager a week ago. He's young. He's a bit, new in the way that we've been playing over the last few years. Let's embrace that sort of mentality. Let's give it a go. I mean, to be honest with you, the Solskjaer appointment is very, basically... Remember, over the last few years, a lot of people have said, give it to the class of 92. I'd love them to manage it. That's what we're basically getting with Solskjaer. There's nobody in the class of 92 that they've gone for, so they've gone for Solskjaer. So we're basically getting the romance. And I think just give it to Pogba. I think even if you don't like Pogba and you want him out of the club, I would still say give it to Pogba. Give him the responsibility. If he sinks with it, we move on and we've tried. If he takes it and we get the best out of him, happy days. That's what I would say. So I would say give it to Pogba. Don't give it to bloody Ashley Young or Valencia. Mata, I wouldn't mind Mata getting it, but is Mata a captain? I don't know. I would give it to Pogba. Gabriel Obertan for captain, Maloney. Remember him. Pogba's not a leader, says Amar Syed. Well, we'll find out, but I think he is. I think when you look at the footage of him in the World Cup in the dressing room, he quite clearly is. He quite clearly is. So I would give it to Paul Pogba. Anyway, what do I want to do? Yeah, I said I'd do it at the end for you as well. So as you can see on the screen, the link is in the video description for Football Index. How does it work? So this is a system where you can buy shares in players. I'll show you my portfolio because it's doing fantastically well at the moment. So that's my portfolio of players. I've just bought Paul Pogba, so I've not made any profit on him because I've only bought him today. But I think all United players are going to go up in value. And unlike putting a £10 bet on a game where you'd lose your tenner, this is about buying shares in players. So you can buy a share in Mason Greenwood for £3.94, and that price will go up. I mean, as you can see, I've made £1.18 per share. I bought him only a couple of weeks ago for £2.70. A lot of United players going up in value at the moment, and I think that's the trend that will continue because United are going to start scoring goals. So attackers in a United team. Mason Greenwood's price is going up to nearly £4 a share, and he's not even played for the first team. So when he does, that's going to boost up a lot as well. Obviously, I've got Salah because his price is obviously going to go up. But my profit, I've only been playing it for a couple of weeks. My profit's up to £40 already. So I'm pretty pleased with that because I am carrying a bit of Deadwood as well. How it works is that people's price goes up based on media and performance on the pitch. So at the moment, Isco is doing very well. Paul Pogba's in at second, even though he was dropped last week. So it's not always about how they're doing on the pitch. It's about what's going off the pitch as well. You can buy youth players for Manchester United. I mean, Mason Greenwood's nearly in the top 10 at the moment. His price is going up and up and up. So my advice would be, if you're going to give it a go, the link's in the video description. You've got to go in with about at least £20, I think, because, you know, as you can see, some share prices are quite big. But the best players to get on at the moment are United players because they're going up in value. So link in the video description for that. And I'd get Mason Greenwood. I think that's one of the things that is clearly going to happen with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He is going to surely give Mason Greenwood a game, and I think maybe the Reading game at home, I think he will do it, and I think Chong might play as well. So very, very exciting times. Rashford's going up in price, Martial's going up in price, but yeah, you can do it as a long-term strategy like me. I'm just going to retain those players and see how they grow. Some people sell and buy them quite quickly, but it's a good laugh. And the reality is, if a player does lose a bit of money, you know, I've got 3 shares in Ronaldo. He's dropped a little bit. I've lost 147. I'm still holding £32 in him. So yeah, if you've got a little bit of spare money, link in the video description. Give it a go. Remember, you've got to be over 18 and do it responsibly. But yeah, there we go. Enjoyed that, and I've really enjoyed the show as per usual. You can see my screen there in the live comments. Can people outside the UK use it? Says Shirath Kamath Fitness. I think they can. I think you can, yeah. But give it a go. There's loads of forums for it as well. What I would say, it's a bit like FIFA Ultimate Team. But actually, you can make yourself a little bit of money doing it. So, you know, it's a bit like that. There's loads of forums about it. They're actually going to do something called a share split in the new year as well. So that, you know, I think Neymar's £15 a share, which is quite a lot. So they're going to split the shares down. So you'd have 2 shares in Neymar and it would drop down to £7. So it's a good time to get some shares as well for that reason as well. But I enjoy it, and give it a go if you want to. But very exciting times for Manchester United. You've all got an opinion. You've all got an opinion, and that is what it's all about, isn't it? But I think positivity is certainly, you know, you may not be totally positive. I've seen people on social media being quite negative, but it's certainly better than we were. There's only a very small minority that think it isn't. What I would say is, if you're only watching tonight the United stand for the first time, please go and watch the video that's called, what is it called actually? It's called How Solskjaer Will Line Manchester United Up. It's all about what I think the formation will be, what I think his lineup will be, what his previous is at Cardiff and at Mould, how he puts his team out, what formation he uses, what tactics he uses. It's only 15 minutes. You'll really, really enjoy it. It also talks about the negatives about Solskjaer and what went wrong at Cardiff, but also how exciting. It's just a very exciting video. I watched it back myself, and I never watch it back. So go and give that a watch if you missed it. You'll really enjoy that. All about what Solskjaer will bring to United. Great job, Mark. All the best, says Dan O'Keefe. Well, I just want to say thank you to all of you lot. It's been a demand. It's been like a transfer window the last couple of days. So much content, so much discussion, and you know, I'm loving it because we've got positivity back, and we all deserve that. It's been tough, especially for those of you who've been Mourinho out since Sevilla. It's been nearly 8 months. I mean, I was only Mourinho out for 3 months, and it was sending me greyer than I already am. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. We've got the preview coming up at 1 o'clock tomorrow. We've got Flex and Rants coming up tomorrow evening for you. Solskjaer's interview on press conference on Friday, and then the match on Saturday, and then we're nearly at Christmas, so we've got a Christmas party to sort out as well now. Loads and loads going on. Make sure to subscribe if you're new, bottom right hand corner. Please do drop a like on the video. Go and watch that video about Solskjaer and how he'll set us all up as well. You'll love that, and then just keep the smile on your face. Keep smiling. Let's enjoy it. Let's keep the positivity going. Thanks for watching. Speak to you all soon. Oh, and have a go on Football Index if you want to as well. Links in the video description.